Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning, and this is I Woke Up Like This. My name is Dominique, and I am the owner of Body Mind Fitness, which is a solo business where I do personal training and yoga for women, especially anyone who is dealing with core and pelvic health stuff. We'll just call it stuff going on with their core and pelvic health. So we're here this morning with a cup of coffee, and I actually flipped my camera around because the 1-year-old birthday poster with all the pretty pictures is still up, and I had mentioned last week that I was probably going to take it down because it was a little bit distracting, and as I also mentioned, it takes me a long time to pull that down. Part of me just kind of likes looking at all the little milestone photos. Anyway, so moving along, we're talking about body awareness today. So body awareness is something that has been on my mind for the last couple of weeks. Kay and A have been with us, and because they weren't with us on Christmas Day, we showed them the video of Christmas Day and the girls' reactions and all the craziness going on with that. So what I noticed in this video, there's a point to the story. What I noticed in this video is as I was carrying Miss Audrey down the stairs, I definitely was in some pretty embarrassing gripping positions with my posture, things that I work really hard on all the time. But there are also postural things that I've been doing for the last 3.5 years as I've been either pregnant or newly postpartum. And for the first time ever after a year old, I am neither of those things. Am I still postpartum? Yes, I will always be postpartum. I've always, there's always the fact that I've had children, but I am no longer kind of in those early stages where things are actually beginning to normalize hormonally, and things are changing with Babe as well, where I don't need to be in those hunched over positions as much, doing bottle feedings and things like that. So my point is, I was pretty embarrassed about what I saw because I've been working on these things a lot. So a couple of gripping patterns that I have in my body are, I have this forward head position, which actually puts a lot of strain on my neck. And I also do a lot of butt gripping, which I work on very hard. I've talked about mom butt a lot, and this is something that more than anything else, I would prefer not to have, especially because it has to do with the way our skeleton is stacked. So, it's good for me. It's not necessarily, there is an aesthetic part to it, of course, but it is a gripping pattern, mom butt, more than anything else. So, number one thing is, have you noticed the gripping patterns that you are holding in your life? So take a moment to pause when you are doing something every day, whether it's walking down the stairs, holding your child, carrying groceries, cooking, doing some cleaning things, and notice if there's something that you are gripping onto in your body. So this is really important to have that body awareness. So I know that a lot of people talk about body awareness. It's almost become that word that everyone talks about, but sometimes, and I know I went through this early on, I was wondering, what the heck does that even mean? What do you mean? But we do have a little bit of a disconnect with our bodies, especially when we perceive something about our bodies as being flawed. So take a moment over the course of the next couple weeks, try to notice what's happening in your body and see if you can start making changes just based on there. Just starting to realize, okay, I'm gripping in this place. Can I let go a little bit? Don't get me wrong, it might not be that easy, and I will get to that a little bit later with point number 3. Point number 2 is, if you happen to be somebody who is participating in any kind of fitness class, whether it's yoga or weightlifting or cardio, are you getting the changes that you're looking for? Is anything changing through that movement and exercise? So the first thing that I would ask myself when you are performing a movement is, do you know what body part you are working when you're doing that thing? And if you don't, ask questions, ask. And I really sincerely hope that your instructor will rather truthfully tell you, I don't know, or will have an answer for you, because I've definitely been in situations where, looking back, I wasn't given the correct answer. And I hope that was just a fluky thing. Anyways, so making sure that you know what body part you are working is really, really important, or what body part you are stretching. There are subtle changes that you can make to positions so you're feeling things differently. For instance, if you are in downward facing dog in yoga and you tilt your tailbone up towards the sky, even with bent knees, you're going to start to get more of a stretch through the hamstrings. I do focus predominantly in the length of the back, but there is that added bonus of getting the stretch through the hamstrings. If you are doing a bicep curl, most people know what a bicep curl is, but are you feeling it in your bicep, or do you feel like you're just bending through the elbows? Which brings me to kind of point 2.5, which is sometimes I like to think about what muscle I'm contracting. And this becomes a very helpful tool to use if you happen to be somewhere where you don't have the correct weights to use. Maybe the weights that are accessible to you in the moment are a little bit too light, whether it's you're kind of transitioning out of the weight that you have at home, or I don't know, you're at a hotel and all the heavy weights are gone. I don't know. But if you can start to think about what muscle is contracting when you are doing that movement, you can start to bring that feeling into the muscle. Thinking about the bicep actually contracting and then releasing. When it comes to exercises that involve body weight, for instance, like squats, not so important because you do have the body weight, and even if you're not accustomed to it and you don't have access to the weight, you are still getting the benefit of the body weight. But I mean, I could do a bicep curl really with no weight just by thinking about contracting that muscle. Which brings me to point number 3. Sometimes, because of long periods of time where we held certain postural things in our bodies, or, and this could have been years for any reason. I mean, there's so many environmental factors, so many external factors that come into play in our lives that change the way we are naturally meant to move, naturally meant to breathe, etc., etc. So, pardon me, I had a little pop-up here. I just want to get rid of it. So a few things that are going on that create tension through the fascia. So fascia is something that exists all throughout our body. It both connects and separates all of our muscles, organs, everything in our body has this layer of fascia around it. And there are different types of fascia, and this is not the day or the time to get into that. So sometimes what happens is tension builds up. So if you think about an orange, and the skin that's over top of the orange, and sometimes it's all like nice and loose and kind of like stringy, and other times it's bunched up and you get that kind of bitter taste in your mouth from it. So when there's tension in the fascia, it's that built up layer around the orange, and the ideal situation is we have that stringy thing, so as things are moving through our body, these fascial tissues can kind of glide past each other. When you've got that bunched up, it doesn't have the ability to move as well. So for instance, when I move my head into an eavesdrop position where I actually place my neck where it's properly supposed to be, or if I'm trying to work on my posture and I'm pulling my shoulders back, I feel a lot of pulling up here in my chest muscles. So this requires me to take some time to really release these tissues, and that is as simple as taking a lacrosse ball to it. It's pretty brutal at first, and we hold it for a little bit of time, and with that limited amount of time, we're able to start releasing through those fascial tissues. So this is something that I work with in my clients at the beginning of all our one-on-one sessions. We do a good little bit of myofascial release before we move into the strength training portions, so you start to see the results you are looking for that much faster. So if you are participating in any kind of workout program, pardon me, still kind of a little congested. If you're participating in any kind of workout activity and you're just not seeing the results and you're not understanding why, let's chat. Let's figure out what's going on, because who wants to work out and not see something happening? I mean, there's so many goals we have, goals of strength, goals of energy, but there is also, we can't deny it, the aesthetic part of it. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you are not experiencing those, let's figure out why. So as always, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll do a little recap of those things I was saying. So take some time to notice any gripping patterns in your body. Feel free to post a comment below, throw an emoji in, let me know what you think. Second point is, are you noticing any changes in your body through movement and exercise? And then those subpoints were knowing what body part you were working and taking the time to actually focus on the muscle that is supposed to be working once you know what muscle is working. And number 3 is a little bit of myofascial release, knowing that there could be tension being held in the fascia, which is something that we all experience. So it's not just limited to you or to, we all have it to some degree. So let's get that working out. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can also book your free goal and mobility assessment with me where we will discuss some of these things and figure out what's going on. So it is free and you can head online and book that right away, both in person or online. So feel free to post any comments. Let me know if there is some kind of topic that you would like to hear about at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. Aside from that, that's all I've got today. I gotta get the girls up and get myself ready for some appointments today. So thanks so much for tuning in, as you do every Monday, and I look forward to either seeing you in class this week because we've got the new session starting off, or seeing you perhaps in the comments, or in a goal and mobility assessment. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.